What's up, garden nerds? Today I'm gonna give you 8 mistakes that you don't want to make in your garden. I've made them, they're not good, so we're gonna go over it. Come on, let's go. All right guys, so today I want to talk about 8 mistakes that you want to avoid in your garden. And I don't come to you as like the expert saying, don't make these mistakes, I've never made these mistakes. I come to you as a person who has made these mistakes and learned from these mistakes. And I want to tell you what these mistakes are so that you don't have to make them, so that you can have better success in your garden and quicker success in your garden than I have. So tip number 1 is water. You don't want to water incorrectly. This is a topic that we can go into in a very deep level, and I've actually done another video. If you look up here, you can get all the details, but you want to make sure that you're watering correctly. What does that mean? You want to make sure that you're watering deeply. You don't just want to be sprinkling your water, whether it's in your garden or whether it's your fruit trees. You want to make sure that you're watering deeply. Another thing in your garden bed is you don't want to use a sprinkler. So you don't want to just like put vegetables in the middle of your grass lawn and use a sprinkler to water those. Most leaves, whether vegetables or fruit trees or any types of leaves, do not want water on their leaves. This can cause disease, it can cause mold, it can cause pests, it can cause a bunch of issues, where if you just water directly into the soil and you don't get that water on the leaves, you're gonna be a lot better off. So watch that video about watering, but that's the number 1 thing, especially here in the desert Southwest. If you do not water correctly, you probably won't have any success at all at growing anything. Tip number 2, and this is specific to fruit trees, is not establishing overstory trees. What do I mean by that? There are certain trees, especially here in the desert Southwest, that can take all day full Arizona sun. Very few trees, very few plants can do that. Arizona is a beast when it comes to the sun and the heat. So if you're planting trees that cannot take that full Arizona sun out in the middle of your yard with no protection, those trees are going to die. However, if you plant a mulberry tree, and I talk all about a mulberry tree right here in this video, if you plant a mulberry tree, it can handle the full Arizona sun. Once you establish that tree and it offers shade and protection in your yard, then you can plant other more sensitive types of trees, plants, vegetables under those overstory trees. So when you're planning out your yard and what you want to plant, start with the trees that can handle your climate well. Those can be the protection or mother trees for all the other things you want to plant underneath them. Tip number 3, and this goes right along with tip number 2, is you don't want to take a vegetable bed or a fruit tree and say, oh, you know what, that spot right over there in my yard, it would go really good over there. That tree would look really cute. It would be a really good piece right there in that specific spot. You do not want to plant the trees or vegetables where you want them to be planted. You want to plant the trees and vegetables where they want to be planted. So the more sensitive trees want to be planted under the overstory trees like we just talked about. Some vegetables want to get just the morning sun. Other vegetables don't like so much sun. Other vegetables like a lot of sun. So when you're thinking of what you want to plant and where you want to plant it, don't plant it where you want to, plant it where the plant wants to be. Mistake number 4 is not using enough mulch. Guys, mulch is awesome, it is essential, it is necessary, especially if you're growing things in the desert. I have a video about mulch. If you look up here, you can see that. But when you use mulch, you're doing a number of different things. First thing is, in the summer, when it's hot and the sun is beating down on the soil, it is providing an insulation layer. It's keeping that moisture down below the mulch. It's not allowing the sun and the heat to get to it. And so it's keeping all that moisture down there where the roots are, where the trees want it. It's also slowly breaking down with time. And as it breaks down, that is food. That is feeding the soil. That's the type of food that you want to feed your trees and all of your plants, is that natural organic mulch that is breaking down into food for your trees. If you're not mulching and you're growing food in the desert Southwest, you are wasting water, and you're wasting a lot of it. You can significantly decrease your watering efforts simply by using mulch. So if you're not using mulch and you're not using a lot of mulch, you need to start using mulch now. Mistake number 5 is not using proper soil, or not using soil at all. A lot of people will just put their tree or their vegetables right in the native soil, and that's not good. Native soil is good. It has a lot of nutrients in it. People have grown in the desert Southwest food for hundreds of years before we even were here. However, you need to make sure that you're using good organic soil. If you're planting a raised garden bed, you need to put proper soil in there. Don't ask yourself, what's the cheapest soil I can buy? Can I go to Home Depot or Lowe's or any big box store and buy the cheapest type of soil? No, you want to buy the best type of soil possible, because that's going to set you up for the best and easiest success. In all of my gardening efforts, anytime I go cheap on soil, I realize very quickly that is a mistake, because my garden never produces as good as it could. Anytime I buy the best soil available, my garden is always awesome. And it can make a world of difference simply by using the best soil possible. So don't go cheap, don't make that mistake. Find and buy the best soil you can, especially when you're doing raised garden beds. Mistake number 7 is using synthetic fertilizers. Guys, don't use fake fertilizers. This may be an easy, quick fix. You might go to the store and buy some Miracle-Gro and throw it down, and suddenly you have these huge, awesome flowers or huge, awesome vegetables. But that is a quick fix, and it's a mistake. When we're talking about fertilizers, we're not fertilizing the actual plant, the actual vegetable, the actual tree. That's not the purpose of fertilizers, and that's what synthetic fertilizers do. When we talk about fertilizers, we want to fertilize the soil, the ground, and that's what organic fertilizers do. Natural organic fertilizers break down over time. They feed the soil over time. They enrich the soil over time, and then over time that soil can constantly feed your trees, your vegetables, your plants, and produce awesome plants for years to come. Whereas the synthetic fertilizers will be a real quick fix, but over time it's going to destroy your soil, and the soil is what feeds the trees. So don't make the mistake of using synthetic fertilizers. Find an awesome organic natural fertilizer, and that will set you up for success for years to come. And mistake number 8, it's an easy one. Don't make the mistake of being a stressed out gardener that doesn't have fun. I constantly talk to people who are so stressed out that they're gonna kill their plant. Their vegetables aren't gonna grow, their tree's not gonna grow, they're not gonna get fruit, they didn't do this right, they didn't do that right. Guys, the whole point of gardening is to relax, is to enjoy nature, is to enjoy all of this. Don't be a stressed out gardener. You're gonna kill a lot of things. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, just like I've made a lot of mistakes. Hopefully this video helps you not make as many mistakes, but don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to learn, and don't be afraid just to enjoy gardening, because that's what it's all about. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any ideas or suggestions for future videos, please let me know in the comments, and we will see you in the next video.